All right, how you feeling?
I feel great. You popping my podcast. Cherry. I'm here with my best friend. What we doing?
Exactly. I'm honored to be your first.
Oh man. I'm happy that it's you.
I'm Sara Jane Ho, and this is Mind Your Manners, where no topic is off limits as we uncover the secrets to feeling at ease in every situation. Today, I'm joined by someone incredibly special. He is a Grammy-winning music producer and artist who's worked with Jon Batiste, Pitbull, Jason Derulo, and more. But he isn't just about the music. Kizzo is about energy, exploration, and expression. And this episode isn't a formal interview. It's a hang. One that touches on music, spirit, culture, and the wild journey of becoming. So Kizzo, take us back. What was your first memory of music moving you?
Oh, that's easy. I want to say 5, 6 years old.
In Amsterdam, right? Where you grew up?
In Amsterdam, where I grew up. I'm in the kitchen. So every time my mom would be cooking, she would always put me in the kitchen. So I'm in close vicinity, right? And she would always play music. So I would just hear these records, and I never forget. Like, she loves, Marvin Gaye, Earth and Fire, like all that type of stuff.
This is what, the 80s? No, not 90s.
Yeah. So, that whole period though, like 70s, 80s, 90s is my mom all day. Like, even the way her house is decorated is 70s, 80s. Like the way she dresses, 70s, flower power. That's my mom all day. So, I'm in the kitchen, just, there. Like, I love food, so I'm in the kitchen all the time. My mom is cooking, and she would just play these records. And my first, like, real moment with music and being intrigued was when she played Earth and Fire. It was like, I'm just hearing, these trumpets and arrangements. I don't know if I could, at that age, was able to, like, I guess, what's the word? Like, I don't know if I was able to identify what I was hearing. But I was just hearing. I'm seeing colors, and it's happy. And I said, man, whatever this is amazing. And not long before that, my grandparents had told my mom that she needed to buy me a keyboard. It was very weird. My granddad said, hey man, he got long fingers. You gotta get him a keyboard. It was just like that.
Okay,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, you have a big hand, that's for sure. But
as a kid, I guess it was one of those. So I was like, my mom was like, all right, let's do it. He actually bought it for me, and it was in the kitchen. So what started happening is I would listen to these, to these records and just playing along. But mind you, I never had a lesson before, but I was able to like play along with, like, I guess the melodies.
Yeah.
So the synergy of that it just flipped the switch, where I was like, oh, music.
Wow.
And that's really kind of how I feel like that was my first memory of actually falling in love with music.
Wow, that is so beautiful. And you know what? Because, we did a hangout session at your house.
Right.
When we left, so me and my stepson, Jeff, he was like, I want to learn how to play the keyboard. Can you sign me up for keyboard lessons? Because I want to know how to play the keyboard like Kizzo. And I was like, all right, like.
I love that.
That'll be next summer.
There it is. And
then how did you break into producing?
So at some point I think just like every musician, doing jam sessions, and I call it, that's like a culture on its own. You go into jam sessions, you hang out with different musicians.
At what age?
Oh, I'm now like 9, 10, 11.
You're doing jam sessions?
Oh, that's what you do. You just go to different places, and you like, my mom would drop me off for this and that. You just go like play with different musicians. That's how you get better. You don't really get better just off of course you got to practice every day, but then a part of getting better is just, mixing in the culture. And my mom would drop me off somewhere. I would like, at like 11, I was at this, I was playing at this restaurant. His restaurant. Every Friday I would go over there and just, again, basic tunes, but I was out there just doing my thing, and like, it's Amsterdam. It's like, it was moving
What do you
around.
mean like it's Amsterdam? How does it being Amsterdam make it
Meaning
different
like,
from...
it's not, I feel like maybe in America it might be a little more scary to be young and just be at a place, but in Amsterdam I feel like it's kind of safe. It was like, mom drops me off, we go hang with the guys, I get picked up. Like it was it's part of the part of the vibe. That's how you get into it. So you just go on stage. They always ask like, oh, does somebody want to play at some point? And then you just go and then you start playing and, nobody knows that you're just jamming. Somebody start hitting a chord and you come in and that's kind of how you learn.
At a restaurant?
Well, no, the restaurant became a sidekick. So there was this guy named Jose Avila. He used to play in a restaurant. It was like a Spanish restaurant. And one day I was there. I don't remember who I was with, but I met him and I thought he was a fantastic player. And I was just like, man, I want to do this. And he was like, oh, you play? I said, yeah, a little bit. So then he was like, yo, come sit down and play with me. So I would play. I mean, he was 10, 20 times better than me, right? But I just had I got to like experience it with him. And then at some point, one day he couldn't make it. And he was like, hey, you wanna go fill in?
Fill in?
And I was just out there with my little hands and I was just displaying the tools to the best of my capability. And, they liked me. So then they started booking me more, also with him a lot. But just like, that's all the experience I've just gotten was just like by doing things,
And how did that lead to producing?
So one day I was in Amsterdam, I was in the subway and there was this artist there with his child. And he's a pretty famous artist. And I said, hey man, so nice to meet you. I'm a keyboard player, piano player. I would love to like maybe play something on your record before. And he was like, yeah man, like take my number. So I was like, great. So I get his number. And I start calling him next day. Hey, man, he don't pick up.
You're a hustler. I love it.
Oh, man. I mean, because I want to be, I want to be in the studio. I want to do something. So I'm like, yeah, let's. So I call him. He don't pick up. I call him a day later again. Yo, I call him for like a month. Just, because he never picked up. But I was like, nah, I told my mom, I met somebody, man. I gotta get,
Yeah.
Keep calling him. I'm telling you, it probably was like almost a month later. I kind of gave up in my mind, like he probably not gonna pick up, but I'm still gonna call. And I never it was around 7 p.m. And I called and he said, hey man, how you doing? I said, hey man, yo, I would love to come to the studio. He said, yeah man, I'm in the studio now, come on now. Mind you, it's late, I'm still young. And I said, Mom, I gotta go, man, it's an opportunity, like give me. Mom said, all right, just go, but be back around a certain time. I said, okay, cool. So I leave, I go to the studio. Yo, I came back late in the morning. I just got there and they were like, well, we're working on this record, can you play something on it? So I started playing on it. And I was just so fascinated by just everything. The producers were there and they were recording and this and that, go play and he's singing. And I said, oh, wow. This is what I'm gonna do. Now I'm like, this is what I wanna do. Cause I always thought I wanted to be a musician, so to say, and just get better. But then when I saw the producers doing what they do and I played something, they put the beats on it and they started arranging, I said, oh, that's what I want to do. Because also it made sense in my mind, like, oh, that's what Earth and Fire is. It's not just they're adding things to it here and there. And I'm like, wait, hold on. If that's what they're doing, I should be able to do that. So, and that's how I kind of got into it. I started just downloading one of those programs illegally. I was young, I ain't had the money, so I just downloaded one of those programs, and I just it was Cubase at the time, and I just started learning how to produce, and that's literally when I fell in love with it.
And that's when you're like, there's this thing called being a music producer, and this is what I want to be.
Yeah, wow. And what's interesting too, like it wasn't like I feel like being a music producer now is hot. But back when, even in where I'm from, like it wasn't necessarily a hot thing, and especially not even thinking about being born in Amsterdam and going to the States or America. It wasn't a thing. Like there wasn't a lot of proof of concept, so it was one of those things where it was kind of like nobody knew. So I would ask like my teacher, like, man, how do I become a music producer?
Your Dutch teachers.
Yeah, he would teach me. He was the music teacher.
In Amsterdam, right? Yeah,
exactly. So
he's Dutch, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's Dutch. Yeah. So I'll ask him the question, and he's like, I don't know. And he was a fantastic player, but he said, I don't know. So I would ask different people, like, how can I become a music producer? And nobody had an answer. So it was very frustrating, but I just figured, like, I got to just go figure it out. So that's kind of how it, like, I just kept trying to figure out how to become a music producer until I guess it was one.
And then in between that, you were like, if I want to be a music producer, I got to move to LA.
No, not really. What it was is, so I started working with this artist I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Right?
What's his name?
His name is Lloyd.
Okay.
Lloyd. And I know we have an American Lloyd too, but this was the Dutch Lloyd. And everybody in Amsterdam knows exactly who that is. So I'm working with Lloyd, and in that process, there was a publisher, a Dutch publisher. His name is Niels Walboomers. He heard some of the music, and one day they asked me if I wanted to come to the office and kind of meet with them because he liked what he heard. So I sat down with him, and he was like, "Hey man, I love what you're doing, and I'm interested in." And he's like, "What do you want to do?" Like, and I said, "Man, I want to become a huge producer in America." And he was thinking, "That's interesting because you really even got no success here. You're talking about America." But in my mind, I'm like, like, what are we doing? Like, I'm always thinking about where can I go? That's this, my mindset has always been like, let's look in the future and see where I want to be.
Yeah.
I'll always look at where I want to be. So that's really what I was focused on. And he was like, "Well, I actually share that dream with you because I'm a Dutch publisher, but I want to also internationally be acclaimed. So I would like to go on that journey with you," basically.
Wow.
And that was the first time really that somebody showed their interest and believe in what I was doing. And that kind of landed me my first Dutch publishing deal.
And then you moved to LA.
No, that's when I started. Mind you, I had no records out, so there was no nobody cared about me in LA. What happened is I was able to then start working with other Dutch artists.
Yeah.
And I started having success. I started having, top 20 records, top 40. I started getting these successes. And in that process, I was always developing artists. So it was always like I would like an artist and just say, "Oh, let me start making records for this person." And in that process, I met an artist named Eva Simmons at the time. And, I met her at a radio jingle station. So my job was essentially making jingles at the radio. That was my 9 to 5. So I was always making music.
This is after college, after you graduated already.
No, I'm still there.
Oh, wow.
Like, I'm still there.
Okay,
It's like, it's like a, I'm still there. Right? And that's my job that I was doing from time to time. And one day Eva came in and she sang all these jingles, but I was looking at her and I'm listening to her sound and I said, "Man, like, that's what you're doing? Like, why don't you make records?" She was like, "Well, I was in a girl group before, but that's over now. And I'm kind of doing my own thing, but I'm not really like super focused on anything." I said, "Man, let's get in the studio. Let's do some work." And I think she was into it, but she was probably a little reluctant because I'm a random guy asking to get in the studio. She probably think I'm hitting on her, but I was really like, let's get in the studio. So at some point she was like, "Okay, let's do it." And we started making records. Me and her and a friend of mine named Mike Hamilton. He lives in London. And we ended up making one record.
Silly Boy.
Silly Boy, exactly. And Silly Boy is the craziest story. At this point, I'm already, like, I have some records out, I have some success. And me and my guy Nils, we go to Atlanta to the hip hop conference. I already created Silly Boy. Now, as I'm in Atlanta, I'm finding out that Silly Boy had leaked. And I was mad. Like, who leaked my song?
Yeah.
And I didn't know. So, but my guy Nils was like, "Hold on, man. It's been a week." And it got like 1 million views on YouTube. Mind you, there was nothing else. There was no Spotify. It was just YouTube. People doing covers. He's like, "Just maybe hold your horses for a second. I know you're mad, but this might be a good thing." So I'm like, okay. So we waiting and we see more and more people doing covers. And this thing is now blowing up. Now it starts showing up on YouTube as, "Oh, the new Lady Gaga song. Oh, the new Rihanna song." So I get all these headlines to a point where at some point Rihanna had to say in an interview, "It's not my song."
Oh, wow.
It made the whole thing worse because it was like, now, what I'm saying, it's actually being vocalized by somebody. And that led to Eva Simmons getting a lot of offers from international labels to obviously, for a record deal.
Yeah.
And at the same time, that led to people wondering who I was.
Oh.
So that was the first time that people showed interest in, like, oh, who produced the song? And that's actually what, for the first time, led me to go to America, because I got flown out by Sony Publishing. They flew me out, my first time ever flying first class. I said, "Oh, shit, they serious." I felt good. Caviar, I didn't like it, but it didn't matter. I just wanted to try, Like, they flew me out, and And that's actually how I, for the first time, that's not when I actually moved there, but that's the first time that I got interested, and it flew me out, and we started the conversation. And I think the main thing for me is the reason why I didn't at the time, because I think I was 20 or something like that.
Oh, you were so young.
Yeah, I was very young.
Wow.
I was very young. It was 20 or maybe 21, but I'm pretty sure it was 20. And I said, yeah, I'm extremely, I'm like flattered, and I would really like to do this. But I have no experience here, so I would like to because they were talking about, writing sessions and writers, and that wasn't really a big thing where I was from. Like, I had my boy Mike Hamilton, who was a great songwriter, and we would write these songs with Eva, but it wasn't, I guess, like a songwriter culture in the way it is here, right? So I said I would like to start working here and trying to get familiar with how it feels. So they were like, sure. So I would just come here 3 months at a time, because that's how long you can stay if you don't have a visa, and just do all these sessions. And, in the midst of that, I ended up working with a group named Shermanology, and they're from Amsterdam, while I was back in Amsterdam, and they were signed to Afrojack. So, and we were friends. So at some point they were like, hey man, we signed to Afrojack, and we looking for a single. We looking for a record to really set things off. Do you want to do a session and work on it? And I was kind of like, I'm down, but I never done a dance record before at that time. So I was like, well, let's get in the studio and figure it out. So they came to the studio, and I was like, so what are we doing? Yeah, man, just something. Let's start something. So I go to the keyboard. The first thing I did was da, 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 da. Like, I don't know what happened, but it just came to me. Like, mind you, I'd never done a dance record before, so it just happened. And I was like, and they were like, oh, that's fire. So we started working on it and the intention was presenting the song to Afrojack as a single for Shermanology, so they can finally have a record, right? And it can start building their career as well. But then I guess he loved it so much that he ended up making it his single, featuring them.
Oh, wow.
And that was, I guess, my second record that internationally did really, really well.
What's the name of it?
Can't Stop Me.
Can't Stop Me.
Yeah. And after that record, the label Sony was like, are you now ready to sign? I was like, yeah, I think I've spent enough time here doing this, and I think I'm not ready. So that's when I ended up signing, and then they helped me get my visa, and I moved I was 22, like right before my birthday, right after my birthday, I moved. I think it was right before my birthday. I moved to LA when I was 22.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's it. Never went back.
Yeah, never look back.
Ever.
My mom was in the music industry.
Oh, yeah?
She used to work for BMG, Bertelsmann Music Group, before they merged with Sony. This is in the 90s. And by the time she was 37, she was CFO of Asia Pacific for BMG. And she would actually take me to the office with her. She'd take me to concerts.
Right.
We'd be hanging out backstage with Kenny G, Air Supply,
you
Tony
was out
Braxton.
there.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
How old
I was like 10. I mean, we're the same age, right? I'm 39.
I'm 38. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
So,
right there.
and then she would take me to travel with her to like Japan or to Taiwan or wherever, Australia, and I'd meet like the local artists in those places too.
Fire.
So it was fun. It was like a world that I was exposed to.
Right, early
in my
on.
in my younger days.
Yeah.
So since then, I mean, you've come so far. You've been nominated 4 times for a Grammy. You won 2 years ago, right? Was it last year? 2022. For Best Album, which you produced Jon Batiste's album, and you called your mom to tell her you're going to bring her to the Grammys, right?
I definitely called her and brought her to the Grammys. I didn't just call her. I flew her out, and she was absolutely with me.
And so what influence did your mother have on your career? Because it sounds like she, the beginning of it, like having you in the kitchen listening to music, was this a total full circle moment for her?
I think it was definitely a full circle moment, but I think in between time, it was one of those things where, yes, she influenced my music taste. Like, till this day, I reference records that my mom used to play when I work on music and different things. But there was also a flip side to me loving music so much. I started doing worse in school, and I was not as focused on it because I really wanted to, do this music thing. And my mom was completely against me, I guess, fucking up my life, so to say.
Right.
Because she, and mind you, rightfully so, because it wasn't really a proof of concept of like, oh, you're going to make it out in America and stuff like that, right? So
And how many people actually make it? I mean, very few.
Exactly. So again, that's why I said rightfully so. But my mom, I'm only raised by my mom, right? So it's like she was essentially also my dad. So
Yeah.
it's like she was very hard on me in that way, like, oh, if you live under my roof, you're going to have to do what I tell you. If you don't want to do what I tell you, you got to get out or figure it out on your own. So I had to figure out a lot on my own because I was like, well, I'm still going to do what I want to do. So, there'd be nights, she was like, she would take my allowance thinking that it was going to stop me from going. And I would just be figuring out how to get to the studio, sleep on the studio floor. Like I did it all. Like I was just like, yo, I really believe in this and I really want to do this. So I think there was a love-hate relationship when it came to the music at that time. And also, for the longest, in Amsterdam, I wasn't really making real money, even though I had success, but it's not that type of same type of money I would make here or anything like that, right? So she would still help me with paying, my phone bill and different things. So she out here stressed out, like, yo, when is this going to stop, right? Like, So I guess it was a full circle moment in the sense of like, at some point things started going better, and she couldn't really understand. So it wasn't very clear of like, okay, what's happening? Because I'm all the way here, she's all the way there. She don't understand, right? Right.
Yeah,
but when she was at the Grammys and she was there with me and it happened and the announcement and this and that, she was like, oh, wait, my son actually won a Grammy. Yeah. That was a whole different thing for her because it was like, wow, he actually, whatever he was like pursuing actually worked out in the sense of like, this is what he's been working for. He's an American now. He won, one of the biggest achievements that you can get in music,
the
right?
biggest,
well, the biggest, right? And it was just one of those things where it was full circle from that aspect, right? Because it was kind of like, okay, yeah, he really did it, and he actually paid me everything back that I ever spent on him. So that was like,
she's like, now I understand,
right? Yeah. So that's how she influenced me, and I want to add to that too that just her telling me that, if I really wanted something, I had to figure it out on my own. That's been carrying me, till this day, because even just, working on a Jon, so to say, at the time that I was
Jon
working
Batiste.
on Jon, with my business and writing partner, Autumn Rowe, when we were working on it, it wasn't like anybody cared. Everybody was focused on other artists and maybe artists that at that moment were more popular, this and that. But I've learned to always really go with my gut or on what I want to work, I believe is incredible. And I think I got that from, having a mom who said, if you going to do something, you better figure it out, right? And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to go with my gut then. And I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So till this day, I'll always go off of that.
Your mom sounds like she could be Chinese.
Yeah, I mean, we have some of that in our bloodline. My grandma's mom is Chinese, basically.
Wait, so you're Blasian?
Basically, yeah. We have like, I think we have like, I mean, I'm not sure if she's fully Chinese, but she definitely is heavily Chinese, and we all have, if you look at, I got a little, people say they can see it in the eyes, and but yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I knew we were connected somehow.
I'm telling you, we are, for sure, yeah, so.
I'm a stepmom.
Yes.
In fact, when we met, I was with my stepson.
Yes, you were.
And for me, it's like, so I got married to my husband 3 years ago. So, he came like with this, fully fledged adult. Although I have to say, Jeff, my stepson, he grew up in Vancouver with his mother.
Right.
And he and I didn't really stop becoming close until this year when I moved to LA. And for me, like as a stepmother and basically, a mother now, because I'm very involved in his life and his, going to college and all that. I'm also learning like how to be a mother and how to discipline him while at the same time nurturing his talents and like, pointing him in the right direction.
I think people forget sometimes that there's no handbook on how to be a fantastic parent. Like everybody learns as they go. And also I think your circumstances when you become a parent determine a lot of how you parent, So I just think that, you're doing the same thing that, whether it's your stepchild or your own child, you would do the exact same thing because there is no like necessarily right or wrong. Because all you do is instill your values and morals in the kid, right? And
Yeah.
whatever, if your value is already wrong, the kid gonna take it right. And
Yeah.
so that's what I'm saying. I don't think
Yeah.
that's a right or wrong. It's just like depending on where you at in your life when you have a kid.
And you know what's interesting when you say like sort of where your circumstances are? I mean, the fact that I'm in LA and that I'm meeting people like you, right? And what the night we met, actually afterwards, Jeff wanted to find you to take a photo with you. And we
Right.
couldn't find you because it was like, there were so many people. And I was like, Jeff, don't worry. Kizzo and I are taking an acting class together next week. He's going to be my new best friend.
Exactly. 1,000%. Yeah.
And I grew up in Hong Kong. Hong Kong women are extremely resourceful, like whether they're working professionals or tai-tais. Tai-tais, what we call like sort of rich housewives.
Okay.
But it's all about like, okay, how can I connect people and bring them together to like add value to both sides? And
Right.
where 1 + 1 is like greater than 2.
Right.
And so when I noticed that like for my stepson Jeff, he has a real talent when it comes to music. He has a passion. Because when we're in the car together, he's playing DJ.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I mean, he's like playing these songs.
Yeah.
And even though every single word is like, it's like, pussy, coke, heroin,
sure.
like whatever. And I'm like,
man.
okay.
Yeah.
But the songs he chooses are really good.
Right.
And he can memorize the lyrics to everything. So I was like, I think we have a talent here.
Something there.
And then I met you, and then,
Right.
a couple other things, like he's going to Savannah College of Art and Design in September, and they have a major called 3D sound design.
Yeah, I remember he was telling that. Yeah.
And in fact, and I'm so grateful to you that you showed him how to make a beat at your house,
Right.
because that changed something in him. When we walked out, he was like, I'm changing my major to 3D sound design.
Yeah. But remember I told you? Remember I said to you, like, sometimes the only way to know is to experience it. And that's why I asked him, have you ever made one? Because you want to be in music, but have you ever actually, like, touched the keyboard or just anything? And when he said no, I was like, no, you need to do that first. Because it changes everything. Like, I believe truly, like, there's a switch, that flips where it's like, oh, now you're doing it because you're actually realizing, like, anything that you come up with could be reality in about 3-4 seconds.
Yes.
Right? And that's, if you've never created anything, like, creation is unbelievable. Just be able, like, I wake up with an idea, and by the time I go to bed, it exists.
Oh,
That's a whole different, like, way of, like, looking at life, so to say.
I love that. I recently came across a quote, and it said that human beings were made to create.
Right.
And that's why when all we do is consume, we become depressed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm the furthest thing from depressed. I'm so happy. Because I get to do I get to do what I want every day. I'm like, I'm so excited. And again, it's just, and also just letting it come to you. Like, there's a way that, and especially in a city like LA, because there's so much of it, you kind of feel like you always have to. But then I've kind of learned over time to just be. And it's like, I don't have to, but if something comes to me, I'm very open. So I always say I work on being the best possible vessel, so things can just come to me, but I don't force it out,
That's funny. I also recently, these couple months, started using the word, thinking of myself as a vessel. I'm studying Kabbalah. I'm going like medicine journeys.
Right.
And it's very much about like you as a human, your body as a vessel.
Right.
And how do you like receive the light, from the creator, and how do you
Exactly.
shed light as you touch others? And how do you surrender?
Right.
Right, to surrender to the universe and know that some
Exactly.
things are out of your hand, but to believe and have certainty that the universe will is actually like working for you,
Yep.
and everything that happens is for the best possible like outcome for you.
Yeah. And for me, I mean, for me it's God, for me it's Jesus Christ, for me it's like the stronger your connection is, I believe, for me at least, with God and with Jesus Christ.
Or
He
whatever
uses
your
you,
form is.
Exactly, whatever your form
Yeah.
is. That's why I said for me it's God and Jesus Christ. Whatever your form is, I believe that if you work on that connection, you're opening yourself up to, being able to carry more inspiration. Because the thing is, if you haven't like almost like sharpened your tools or worked on that connection, there's only so much of inspiration that you can receive,
Yeah.
right? And then one part is that, and then the other part of it is receiving the inspiration, but also understanding how to execute it, right? And that's where studying and practicing comes in. Because let's say I get a Chopin inspiration now, but I can't play classical music. What am I doing with it? You see what I'm saying? So you have to
yeah.
also work on your tools and get better in history and
Yes.
understand. So when it comes to you, you also know how to translate it.
You know, one thing I did, because I noticed like the music thing in Jeff, probably just like a couple weeks ago. And so this time when he came to LA, I signed up for guitar classes. And I told him, and I was like, how do you feel about guitar? He's like, yeah, I like it. I mean, it's not like, you know, my super thing. But I was like, I don't care. I want you to take, if you know that you want to be a music producer and you want to do 3D sound design, I'm signing up for at least 10 classes in every instrument.
Right.
So you'll do 10 classes of guitar, 10 of keyboard. If you like keyboard, do it for the rest of your life, you know, and then, you know, other things, singing, right? Because like you said, it's like you kind of have to know at least how to execute it, or if you get that inspiration, like how it can be created.
Yeah. It's funny that you said that. When I was younger, my mom at 5 put me in this, it was like a 1-year program where they teach you how to play every instrument a little bit. And
Oh my God, where can I find that in LA? I'm going to find
I
that.
don't even know if they have it, but at the time,
That's so
my mom
great.
was like, before we actually like lock you down and, you know, for one instrument, maybe try all of them and then see which one you like the most. And I ended up gravitating towards, you know, keyboard at the time, and then it went into piano after. But, you know, I did a lot of djembe and I loved the percussion, and I was doing a little bit of guitar, and I was just a little bits of things, but it just created an understanding of the instruments and really know like I love this. And then like I said earlier about jam sessions allow you to understand in a group what is everybody's role. What is, you know, the drums are the heartbeat, you know, of something.
So true.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and then the bass is like the drive, and you see what I'm saying? So also
Okay,
understand
keep
that
going. I like this. The
you
bass
know,
is the drive.
and
What
then,
else?
Like the percussion is essentially, I call it like, it's the rhythm section that like enforces, it's almost like it's the glue, and it enforces the bass and the drums, right? Like, because the rhythm section is behind it. So it's like, so it's basically like that. So I feel like I wouldn't know that if I didn't play in a band. And I played in regular bands and big bands and the whole thing. So it just, you know, that's why I was like, oh, this is what horns do, and this is the range, and you'll learn that the horn's natural key is in a different key than the piano is, and it's all those things that you couldn't really know. Granted, there are incredible producers who don't know how to play any instrument, but if they're looking for instance, a root note of a record, they gonna go find it in a plugin, like, you know, to be like, oh, what's the root note? And somebody who knows how to play an instrument would just be able to hear it by ear, or just like figure it out on the keyboard. So you always need a little bit of how you get to it is up to you, but you always need some of the core information to get to something, you know.
You just gave me a blueprint for what to do with Jeff. Yeah, music wise.
Yeah.
I love it. But you know, selfishly, I was partying in Ibiza this past summer, and when I left Ibiza, I was like, I need to have a DJ in the family. So, and so when I saw Jeff, I was like, son, you're so talented. Your stepmother's gonna sign you up for DJ lessons this winter.
And what did he say? Was he down?
He was like, okay.
You know
so
what?
that when your stepmother's not sober, she has some music to party to.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, like DJs are also a lot of times incredible producers, because they know really well what a crowd responds to.
Ooh.
Yeah, because you have a great, you know, you're seeing, you playing records, and you're seeing,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying,
The
what somebody is
reaction.
into, and when it's a good time for a drop. So there's actually a lot of great DJs, also great producers, like, you know, like, so it's actually not a bad thing. I need to learn how to DJ, really, like, just for the you know, to have more understanding. I have some amazing friends who are all DJs, and they're really great producers as well.
That makes sense now, because one of my favorite DJs that I discovered this summer in Ibiza is called Bedouin, and they're actually two friends with like Middle Eastern roots. They grew up in the States, and the way they mix the music, and I realized, like, because they were on vinyl, I want my stepson to learn on vinyl.
Ooh, that's the real deal.
The real deal, and they also produce their own songs, and I've been listening to them on repeat on Spotify.
Right.
And I've always been a club girl. Like, even in Hong Kong, we start clubbing like the age of like 17. But what I realized, and I've always loved music, and I don't have to be drunk or like on anything to enjoy the music.
Right.
But this summer in Ibiza, what I realized is music is actually spiritual technology.
Yeah.
And I, like in the clubs in Ibiza, I was getting downloads from God, like from the universe. Maybe it wasn't just the music, but
It was a little bit of everything.
and I was thinking about this. Then literally, I mean, Instagram's algorithm is so good.
Right.
I was pushed a quote by Pythagoras, okay? And the quote said, "The highest goal of music is to connect one's soul to their divine nature, not to entertain." What is your take on that? Like, what does music do to your soul that nothing else can?
I think music is capable of instantly changing me or my mood in ways that technically nothing else can. It's like when like I can be super sick and hear a record and be super happy in like 3 seconds. Like there's no, even if you take like an Advil for a headache, it takes a while before it kicks in.
Yes.
But I can hear a record and it just like, can change the whole, like, can change my whole state. So I think that's one thing. And I just think in general, like I feel like I wouldn't even really know what to do without music. Like to me, music is truly everything. To me, it's my heartbeat as well. Like I live music so much. I love being in the studio. I love practicing my instruments and also just actually creating. So I do feel like, yes, it's not to entertain. If anything, it's entertaining myself, but I don't think of music and like, oh, I'm trying to entertain the people. What I'm trying to do is actually reach the people and touch the people. Like, it's bigger to me than entertaining, right? Because let's say if I make a record, like we just put a song out with Jon Batiste last Friday called "Do It All Again."
Oh, a new song? Okay, I'll check it out.
Last Friday, and my partner who I wrote it with, Autumn Rowe, said when she posted it, like, "Oh, this is an amazing wedding song," and I never thought of it like that. But then when I really listened to it and like, I was like, yeah, that's so right. This is like a wedding song. So when you think about that concept, and a lot of people seem to gravitate towards it and we're posting it, and I thought about it and I was like, yo, that's so right. Sometimes, and especially now, remember like back in the day, a certain record comes on, even today, and as soon as you hear the record,
it takes you
places
back
in that space where you was at, right?
For me, every summer is defined by a club song.
Right.
And anytime I hear that song, I'll be like, oh my God, like summer of like 2006.
Exactly. My point exactly. And I feel like it's, to me, that's happening less and less now with records because there's so much of it that I can't always place when I heard that record, the type of impact it had on me. So I'm bringing that up to say why I love the reframe of like, oh, a wedding song, because what it does is, this is not about entertaining. This is about, if you're looking for your loved one or you're in love or you want to get married, this and that, listen to this. It adds like a purpose to it. And that's to me bigger than just entertaining. It's like, we transferring a message like, this is what it stands for. So that's why I think entertaining is just a part of what music can do, but it's healing, right? I think that's even more important. I think it's, in a way, it can teach you things, right?
Yeah.
Like especially back in the day, like with SWV and all these different
What's
bands.
SWV?
The band.
Oh, the band.
Yeah. It's all right. I feel like a lot of these groups were like, they were talking about, don't go chasing waterfalls. Like there was messages there was real messages, and you can learn something from it rather than, just entertain. It's just messages. Yeah.
So have you ever had a spiritual or transcendental experience making music?
Yes, a lot actually. Yeah, and I'll tell you why I say a lot. First and foremost, because I believe that even the concept of making music, it doesn't, I don't do it, it comes through me. So I just, in that way, it's always spiritual. But the transcendental part a lot of times comes in after I heard the record. And I'm like, I wonder how I did that. Because I can't actually recall how I did it, or I also can't do it again. I can't reproduce it.
Because you were in a flow state, right?
That's what I'm saying. So that's the transcendental part, where it's like I'm not there, I'm just going for it. And then when I listen back to the song, I'm like, oh man, that's great. It's almost like I listened to it as like a consumer at that moment, but I can't really recall how I did it, and I also wouldn't be able to do it again. Like I can just say that. It's a lot of songs that I did that I don't know. I probably wouldn't be able to. I probably could do something like it, but depending on the state I'm in, if I'm too conscious when I do it, it's not going to sound the same. It's not even going to feel the same. And to me, everything is about how it feels. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like I experienced that a lot.
That is so profound. You know, in traditional Chinese medicine, we actually have like 5-element music therapy. I don't know if you've heard of that. And it's seen as a way to balance the elements and restore harmony in your body. So, I mean, there actually is a lot of studies now done of how the frequency of music, even house music, will heal you.
Right.
And in TCM, we say that there are actually 5 musical scales to balance your body's energy and treat illnesses, particularly emotional and mental health illnesses. So the 5 elements are wood, fire, earth, metal, water. We call it 金木水火土. And they correspond to different organs and musical tones. And so, for example, there's like a wood tone called 绝, and that manages anger. Or there's a fire tone called 智, and it manages sorrow.
Interesting.
I'm telling you, the Chinese.
Y'all on to
Yeah, we were on something ages ago.
And again, man, I'm part of the family too, man.
You're Blasian.
So come on, man. Like, it's seeping through me, man. It's you know, it's happening. As I create, it's happening, man. Yeah.
Wait, so do you use substances to shift your creative awareness?
No, I don't. Well, look, I'm from Amsterdam, so at a younger age, I
Right.
have experienced and tried substances.
Yes, I mean it's part of like the whole process of living in. I feel like living in
I mean,
Amsterdam.
like I said, it's part of it, and I tried things, but because I tried it, I feel like so early, I've also kind of snapped out of it very early.
Well, what were you trying? Like, what are people doing in Amsterdam at a young age, or in the music industry?
Everything is available. So,
Is everything legal? Is everything legal?
not everything, but a lot of what's not legal anywhere else is legal.
So what,
there,
like
to
Molly?
say. Yeah, all this stuff. you
Molly's
can find
legal
it.
in Amsterdam?
You know what's see, this is how blurred the line is. Sometimes you don't even know because it's so easily to get. Does that understand? Like, it's so easy to get something that I don't even know if it's legal or not. But it's, you know, I will say I never actually tried Molly. But
Really?
But yeah, I've never tried Molly.
But that's like the best thing to do with music, so they say.
You know, I wouldn't even know. Like, you know,
Wow.
I've never like I've made music high before. You
On
know,
weed?
Like, yeah, on weed.
Oh,
like
okay.
Before I've done it on like
How was
you know,
that? I mean, wouldn't you just be mega sleepy?
Well, there's downers and uppers. Sativa and like, you know, sativa is an upper, and indica is a downer. And if you take an upper, then you're gonna be wide awake. And if you
Even
take
for
a
weed?
downer, well, that's what it is for. So if you go to the weed shop and you say, "Yo, I want a sativa," you get an upper, which again keeps you up. But if you get an indica, that's usually a downer. You get tired. Now, obviously, some people just respond one way to weed, but that's generally, you know, the difference in whether you're gonna go to sleep or you're about to bounce off the walls. You
Clearly,
know?
I don't do weed.
But again, yeah. So that was, you know, that was something that
Acid?
No. See, no, I haven't gone that crazy. I ain't gonna hold you. Like some of the things I haven't done, but I have mushrooms and you know.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that must be beautiful on music, right? I mean, what
Yeah, it's just.
what does that do to you on music?
So when I create, I a lot of times like see colors when I create, and what's interesting about that when you create on mushrooms, like all the colors get like way stronger and clear. Like so, if you see a faint green, the green will be extremely like bright when you do it on mushrooms. There's something about colors, like for me, for the main part, and also I was told to not really. Like I guess move around too much. Like when you
When you're on shrooms?
Yeah, so
like
I've
physically
never-
move around?
Yeah, like actually like go outside and do that whole. I mean, there's micro doses that's obviously doable, but there's also doses that they say you should probably
Macro
chill out.
doses.
Yeah, micro doses. Macro is different. So I just never really moved around too much with it. But yeah.
Okay, so how does that, when the colors become more intense, how does that influence your music making?
I think I don't know because when I did it, I was too young. I feel like all I know is that it happened, but I can't. Because the problem is when you're not all the way there no more, you don't really know what you're doing. Like, as far as,
But
like-
you don't know what you're doing anyway because you're in cosmic flow state.
But watch this though. I always say you don't know what you're doing, but you know how you feel. And your feeling is not. And when you do any type of drugs, for me, my feeling is affected. So in other words, I can't recall how I felt when I did something. So let's say you make a hit record, right? There's this feeling that you have. And again, nobody knows. If anybody tells you they know what a hit is, you don't ever know because it also has to do with the way people receive a song, right? But
Yeah.
a lot of times, in your stomach, and you can feel it on everything, like, yo, this thing is special. This has the hit potential, has the hit quality. I find that when I take substances, I can't feel that no more, so I don't know. So let's say I do a record and it becomes super successful, but I did it on the substance, and I'm like, oh man, once I get this feeling again, I know it's crazy. I won't be able to recall it because the substance was making me feel a certain way. So now I'm going to have to take the substance again to create that exact same, and then that's how you kind of can get
It's
addicted.
like the movie The Substance.
Right, yeah. You start getting addicted because it's like, oh, I'm taking it again and again and again, and this is like, so for me, that's also one of the reasons why I ended up stopping, because there was certain things that I feel like I just got too used to when I was creating, especially when I was still drinking. Like, I don't drink or smoke now.
I don't drink at all now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's
it's poison.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
there was a time that I was definitely doing that, and even just something as simple as drinking and smoking weed here and there, I got so dependent on, okay, I'm ready to create when I get my first shot or this and that. That's when I feel most inspired. To where, to me, it was like, nah, I should be able to come in a room and just be inspired because my line is wide open to receive, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't want it to be cluttered or clogged by anything.
Right,
For
because
me,
your energy is already clear,
Exactly,
and
yeah.
your frequency is already clear.
Exactly.
I guess maybe substances or even psychedelics or plant-based medicine, it does more for somebody who's receiving the music than making it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I
Right?
mean, absolutely. Because I've also been on the flip side where we had a big EDM fest, and you on a shroom, and everything is just amazing. You floating. You like, oh, I didn't know the bass was this deep. Like, like everything feels different. So yes, definitely on the receiving end, it definitely does something to you that I think could enhance your experience.
And that's why so many of them are called heart openers, right? So like
Right.
ecstasy is a heart opener.
Yeah.
Even psilocybin shrooms also heart
Yeah,
openers.
absolutely.
I mean, it opens your heart to receive things, and I think it is like a completely different, not neither confirming nor denying what substances I've done.
Hey, man. I always say, let's hope moms don't look at the interview.
Yeah.
Let's hope moms don't watch the interview. Yeah.
And for me, being in LA or going on a spiritual journey, it's really opened my mind to. Well, it's helped me actually with a lot of shedding of preconceived notions or like preconceived conditions of what it means to be like free or to be successful or to have a family, and part of that includes just like how I view like plant-based medicine.
Right.
And I maybe this is controversial, but I want my children to have sex and I want them to do drugs.
Right. I'm actually going to be honest with you. Like, I share that in, I guess, with everything. Like, I want them to have safe sex, and I want them to do, they could do drugs, but I don't want them to,
responsibly.
There's certain things that I probably wouldn't want them to do. But when I say wanting to, it's more so because I feel like because I've done so many things, I have a greater understanding of, both the pros and the cons, and I also feel like I can talk to anybody about these things more objectively. Like, I feel like sometimes when you don't, it's very common for parents to, like, when a child asks something, to kind of just say, because I say so. But that kind of doesn't inform them.
Asian parents,
Right.
Chinese
right.
parents.
Yeah, I mean, same in my culture. It's kind of like, but it doesn't really inform them and like as to why, and sometimes that makes them want to do something more. At least that's what it is for me.
Yes.
Like, yo, my mom said because I say so. Well, I don't know what that means. Let's try. Let's
And it's
see.
like African culture, right?
Right.
So,
exactly. Right. So it's kind of like, and my family is from Suriname, which is right above Brazil, next to Guyana. And but it's again same thing, right? So I do feel, I hope that because I don't drink and smoke, that like when I have kids, that my kids will just follow in my footsteps. But again, I'm not the only influence. There is so much more. There's social media and there's the other kids that they'll run into, right? So again, my hope is that they don't do it. I will say that, but at the same time, if they do it, I hope that they, similar to me, make the decision then that, oh, that's not for me. And I think that could only come from, I guess the proper foundation that I give him, and then hopefully that creates enough wisdom and discernment to be like, oh, this is for me and this isn't, you know. But
Yeah.
I do believe that having tried things will give you actual perspective versus just being like, oh, because I say so, but you really don't know.
Yeah, it's like you have blinders on, right?
Right, because you
but
don't know.
I think it's important to try everything at least once,
Right.
and that just it like expands, your horizons. And I want my kids to have sex safely and do drugs responsibly because I think those are beautiful, beautiful things, beautiful experiences.
Yeah, I mean, and also it comes with life, right? I mean,
Yeah.
especially having sex and creating new life. I mean,
Yes,
it all comes with it.
yes.
So it's like, who would I be to say, oh, you shouldn't do that? Again, responsible is the key.
I grew up in this Chinese culture where my mother was so freaking strict.
Right.
I would not tell her anything.
Right.
But when I think about like, wait, when I have kids, I don't want them to be afraid of telling me everything. I want to know everything that's going on in their lives. And with Jeff, my stepson, I actually told him, I said, because his mother is very strict, so he was going through this period where he wasn't always truthful. And I told him, I said, listen, as long as you tell me the truth, I will never be upset at you.
Right.
Like, but if you lie to me, I'll be so disappointed. And I said, so like you can tell me anything. You can tell me that you got arrested or you did drugs or like, you knocked up a girl. Whatever you call me, I will never get angry at you. And you know what? Now he tells me everything. And he'll even tell me some things. He'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I just told my stepmother that,
And then how do you feel about, has he said anything that made you feel like, damn, he really said that? But I guess it's good that he said it.
So many. Every time I'm with him, he like tells me more and more. And my husband will be like, so like, what did you and Jeff talk about? And I'll be like, oh, it's between me and Jeff, because I don't think he could handle it, to be honest. Because he's a Chinese. My husband doesn't even speak English.
Right.
And my husband's changing with me.
Right.
Because I tell him how to communicate with his son.
Right. Of course. Yeah,
So he has a flexible mindset.
Right.
But like for me, it's also been it's been a learning journey. Like it's like, wow, this is the kind of parent I want to be. And I'm so grateful that I have my stepson, and I'm so grateful that his mother lets me be in his life in such a big way to let me discover that.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's beautiful. I think definitely feel like, I'm not in the stage of my life yet where I've had kids or even have like a stepkid or anything like that, right? I'm not even in a relationship.
The great thing about stepkid is you jump, you kind of just fast forward, you leapfrog over.
Right, exactly. No, 100%. But I do feel like, seeing it around me and kind of seeing the approaches that many of my friends are taking, it gives you a great perspective on like how to go about, the relationship with a kid. And I do think that for me, it would be important to, my kid coming to me and say, hey, I just want to tell you this,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because I also feel like as much as I have a great relationship with my mom now, I didn't have it when I was a kid. And that's not because anything was wrong, but because maybe I didn't feel like I could,
You could tell her everything, right?
Everything, and that's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. But like certain things, like, just like it just felt like, can't, that's tricky, or that's this. And now it's like, my mom's like, that's my dog, that's my homie. You know what I'm saying? Like that's mom's now, but back in the day I just didn't feel that. And then a part of me is like, well, I'm glad it's good now. But then another part of me is like, okay.
It was more important for you to tell her stuff back then.
Maybe, or what I was going to say is the other part of it is I want to make sure that my kid experienced that earlier with me. Like, where it's like, yo, just tell me what it is. And that makes me also happy that I was able to experience a lot of things in life to where I feel like I come from an objective place. When you tell me, oh, I did this, or I did that, I'm like, oh, well, I remember my time when I did this, I was able to pivot in this way. I dealt with it in this way. So I do think that, that is an important thing for me.
And I think you will be that kind of parent.
I always believe that if you want to be something, you got to work on becoming that. And I think I'm definitely working on becoming that. Yeah.
Yeah. I know you don't have a girlfriend. Otherwise, I'd be gifting you some of my vagina care brand.
Yeah, I'm all right, and I'm not giving it to my sister. So,
Oh, you have a sister? I should have brought some for you today.
Yeah, but my sister is also in Amsterdam, so okay. I don't have to ship it. I'm all right. I just, I'm good.
Well, you let me know as soon as you have a girlfriend. You call me, and I'll be sending some over to you.
I got you. Thank you for that.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on, and I want to leave our listeners a quote from you that you told me when we first met, which was, "Your music is only as beautiful as the person you are." Do you want to tell them?
Oh, man. So my actual quote is, "Your music is only as good as you are as a human being." And
that's right.
And I got that from Mr. Quincy Jones himself. To me, the all-time greatest producer and composer to ever live. And I truly believe that your internal growth really affects what you create and even how you create. So, just working on yourself internally, meditate and do whatever you need to do to grow as an individual will then, just boost your creativity on a whole nother level.
Totally. And that's how we bonded, because we asked each other at acting class, why are you taking this acting class?
Right.
And I said it's because I felt like I wanted to be a better podcast host. And you said you wanted to make better music.
Yep. Yeah. I wanted to make better music, but also I wanted to make music that come from a better place. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to make music that come from a place that's, because again, it's a place, right? It's not, I don't ever think that I make, not good music. I just want to make music from a place that's so authentically me that it's just undeniable. And especially because I've been working on my own project as well, and it's the first time that I get to do whatever I want. I just wanted to make sure that I understood really and truly who I am and what that sounds like, right? And I wanted to do that without having some of the barriers up or some of the filters that we create. I wanted to be raw and uncut, because if I could feel like that, then my music will sound like that. So that's really what I meant by that. Like, it's not necessarily about better music. It's about music that's more or even most authentic to me.
That is so profound, listeners. My hand is actually covering my heart right now because Kizzo is so freaking profound. So this week, I challenge all of you, whether you make music or not, to ask yourself, how can I grow as a person so that the content or the stuff I create comes from a better place?
More authentic place.
A more authentic place. All right, guys, visit my YouTube channel to watch the full episode. And if you want to support the show, please leave a rating and a review. It'll help new listeners discover us. I'll be very grateful. Thank you for tuning in to Mind Your Manners. This is your host and etiquette life guide, Sara Jane Ho. And remember, no matter what life throws at you, with me in your ear, you got this.